Hello, this is RV Vagabond Jerry, and I have driven down south from Oklahoma and Dallas, and now I am at Lake Whitney at the Lofers Bend East campground. And in this video I'm going to show you the next 3 campgrounds I'm going to, and from here I'm going down to Canyon Lake Corps of Engineers campground. This one is also Corps of Engineers. I've been to the Canyon Lake one several times, which is between San Antonio and New Braunfels. And while I'm there, I'm going to ride my motor scooter down to Seguin, where they're having my 55-year high school reunion. And then I'm going up to Austin to get maintenance done on my motorhome at my favorite Freightliner there. And then from there I'm going to go west to Pedernales Falls State Park, and I'll do a video there. So that's 3 places. And from there I'm going west and then north. I'm going to be spending the fall of 2024 and mostly the panhandle of Texas, going to free full hookup RV parks. And at each one I'm going to video just a little bit and put several of them in one video. So now let me show you a particular curiosity about this campground. This is Lake Whitney, and off to the right here is a dam on the Brazos River. And when I got here, the land right there went out to those bushes, and there's been so much rain the last few days that it has really raised the water level, and I'm kind of surprised they haven't opened up the dam a bit to let some of this water out. It's at a really high level now. I made my camping reservation online, and when you do that, it gives you a map. You can select where you want your campsite to be. You pick the exact campsite number. I picked this one because it's so close to the lake. But one thing is really hard, if impossible to tell, is how the trees are at your campsite. Even though it shows a picture, you don't really get a good idea of the trees. And I do not like camping right near trees because it makes it difficult or sometimes impossible to get a good view of my satellite TV antenna so I can get TV reception, and also sometimes for my Starlink internet antenna. And one thing that has never happened to me before is that the whole 4 days I've been here, all day long, I am hearing what sounds like rocks being thrown onto the roof of my motorhome. But it's actually all these little green pods that are coming off of that tree. So what do you say we climb up there and see what that roof looks like? You can see them here on my slide topper, but most of them on this side have rolling off onto the ground. But over here, they got stopped by my cable. These cables go all along there to connect the solar panels. So there's my collection of all of those little pods. See, right along the cables there and over here. I'm not going to clean them off. I'm just going to let them blow off as I'm driving. This is something I've not experienced before, at least not all day long for 4 days. And if I hadn't pulled forward so much so that my satellite antenna, that big black thing there, could get a good view of the satellite, I think there'd be at least twice as many. And one thing I really like about this place is that for that water hookup and 30 and 20 amp electric hookup, and there's a dump station and a garbage dumpster real close there. For all that, it's only $12 a night. And even at that low rate, There's not many people here. All these over here to the left are all vacant. Also, right close to me is the boat ramp here, and a dock that you can go out fishing on, or jump in the other side there and go swimming. So this is a really nice campground for a Corps of Engineers. Well, I'm taking off now. This is my last day. Headed on the Canyon Lake at Cranes Mill. So now I'm at Cranes Mill Park, which is a Corps of Engineers campground. The marina has been closed for a long time because for a long time the water level here has been way too low to do any boating. I'd say there's nothing really special about this campground, except it's really nice that it's all paved, including the parking pads are a good size and all paved like this. And from the windshield of my motorhome, I've got a good view of the lake. Could be a much better view, but like I said, the water is just so much lower than it normally is. It's on the Guadalupe River, and there's a dam here. And the Guadalupe is a major river in Texas. It starts up in the Texas Hill Country and goes down to the Gulf. But for the last few years, it has been just dreadfully low. I've seen it in several places along the Guadalupe where it is so low. And right by my motorhome here, I've got a dumpster and a water faucet. And the electricity is 20, 30, and 50 amp, which is really nice. Nice covered picnic table. There are some trees here in the middle of the campground, but most of the spaces around the perimeter don't have trees. And there's a restroom building, and I think it has some other, maybe it's just for storage. They do have dumpsters and a sewer dump station on the way out of the park here. Now, one problem is when they built these parking pads, apparently they gave little or no thought to making them level, because this is going way downhill, so much that I really couldn't level my coach. Even with my front way up like that, it's still not level. Not even close. I've stayed at this campground several times over the years, and I've seen boats load and unload at this dock. But now you can see this is the best example just how low the water level is. The lake starts from springs up in the Texas Hill Country. So I suppose the springs have really tapered off, and lack of rain, I suppose. But without the lake and boating, there's not much really for this campground other than a place to camp. Of course, that's all I've ever used it for. They do have this tent camping area. And by the way, they don't let people in if they're not here to camp. No day use, as they say. You can go fishing here, and there's a fishing dock. There's no official place for swimming. You can find ways of getting into the water, but there is no really good swimming spot. Now, this looks to me like a homemade RV. Most of it is wood. Nice. Yeah, I'd say that is the cutest little camper. The camping fees here are $17.50 a day, or $35 if you don't have the senior or disabled national park pass. And it is very convenient to both New Braunfels and San Antonio. Well, I'm leaving here today. I found something on my way to Austin I wanted to show you. that says Gardenville. And this is the world's largest shovel. And the top of my head goes about 1 foot above that bottom of it right there. Like about right there is where the top of my head is. So this thing must be about, I'm guessing about 35 feet high. And the reason it's here, see this sign, it says Guinness World Records, world's largest shovel. And it says it's Gardenville. I'm not sure what that is. It's a division of TDS, and TDS is Texas Disposal Systems, which is this company right here that has garbage trucks. So it's a garbage truck service. And I find this interesting. The sign here says, "For your safety, do not stand, sit, or climb on the shovel or any of its hardware." And I don't see how that shovel has any hardware other than the shovel itself. And where would you sit? Way up there, about 15 feet above the ground on those sides. And it says don't stand on it. How would you climb up there to stand on it? Well, this adds to my collection of the world's largest things. And this is in the little town of Creedmoor, if you want to stop by and see it sometime. Well, folks, I'm here at Pedernales Falls State Park, and I got a big surprise. They closed their campground down April 1st, 2024, to redo all of the infrastructure of the utilities. And here 6 months later, they're still closed. So I'm not sure what they're doing. Hopefully when you get here next summer, it will be completed. And I wanted to stay here because the camping is only $20. But I am going to go in and show you the waterfalls. It's not really waterfalls, but you'll see. Here is a map of the park. Here are the campgrounds, and there's an access to the river here. There's also an access to the river down this road for the people who are not using the campgrounds. The falls area is up here. That's where I am now. So I'm now going to take you down to see the Pedernales Falls. Here's another overlook point without so many trees in the way. Then you can barely hear the rippling of the water going down the falls. And of course the falls are not terribly dramatic here. Now I don't know why, but they do not allow swimming in the river at this point. And this looks like an ideal place to swim. You've even got beaches along here where the places where you can swim are all very rocky. And there's even an island that you could swim to. There's a bunch of people down there now. This is not on a weekend, so on the weekends there's probably a lot more people here. He has seen the river so high that you can't see any of these rocks. It gets completely covered in water when they're having a flash flood, when there's heavy rains here or upstream. In fact, here is a sign that tells you about what can happen in a flash flood, if you can read that. And this may be the main falls here, between the rocks right there. But like I said, there are no big dramatic falls here, just several small ones. But it's a very beautiful place. This is further up the river towards the falls, where the water gets about as deep as my shoulders at most. You have to be really careful walking along the river. It's a little bit slippery in places, and it's very rocky on the bottom. This is another part of the park that is called the Twin Falls section. Although I kind of missed finding the Twin Falls hiking down here. You have to hike down quite a long ways. If you're in the area, I think would enjoy your day stay here. Good day, folks.